Greetings, one and all, to this week's episode of Tenno Clock. This week we were planning on having a guest, but in all honesty, the coronavirus is just completely...
They all died.
Did our viewers die?
No, they're immortal.
They're immortal. I want to make a bad joke, but then I'm pretty sure someone will take it seriously, so I'm not going to say anything.
Oh, no, don't be like, quick, get yourself infected with coronavirus.
No, I'll be like, don't worry, guys, the quarantine doesn't apply to you. So, you know, and then someone will be like, but Xeno said the quarantine doesn't apply. It's like, God damn it, I was taking a joke. Anyway.
The police will be like, who's Xeno? So, yes, welcome to episode 334.
And then,
tedium continues, everyone. I do hope everyone is staying safe, staying home, and following your local rules of governance for preventing spread of the coronavirus.
Does that mean I have to listen to Boris Johnson?
Yes, you do.
Damn it.
Which means, sadly, just for everyone to get one over Xeno, it means Xeno can no longer have Nando's right now unless he has takeout, and takeout's just not the same.
Takeout's not the same.
There you go. I think I could have Nando's takeout tonight just to annoy you.
Fine, I'll have Nando's takeout just to annoy you. Right. What are we doing? We're doing this show. Moving on.
Yeah, we're doing a show.
Emblems.
We start with, pictures. Pretty
Emblems.
pictures.
There
Always excited to see some pretty pictures.
Wait, did I send you the emblems?
Yes, you did.
Okay, cool. Between us, Loz.
Mine wins.
There we go. Loz's wins. If you wish to win 150 platinum for your platform of choice, go into the description below where you'll see a link to a Google form where you'll see these two emblems. I hope I actually did last times. Put in your in-game name, make sure it's correct, otherwise DE will be like, do this! And they're probably not like that. And you will have a chance of winning 150 platinum in 2 weeks' time. Probably when they've reopened. Yep. So that's it for the emblems. Moving on to dojo dusting. Loz! We won't be going to TennoCon.
We will.
Will we?
And Zurg will back me up on this last week. TennoCon is not cancelled, it's just going digital. So we will digitally travel there. Digitally.
Like Tron?
Like Tron, Zurg, Drew. Just like Tron.
Oh my god.
We all get to go to every year they've run the TennoCon relay, and we will now go to the TennoCon relay. I'm sure I'll see everyone there. So that, in my opinion, because not everyone can always make it to Canada, but those people there are with us in digital spirit. So we'll all travel there in digital spirit.
Yeah, but my point is that we might not be there digitally.
Why not?
Because we're locked into bloody plane tickets right now that we cannot cancel or refund. So we might be somewhere where there is no internet. Have you not realized this?
No.
Loz is like, I have now.
We'll just log on with your computer or something. I don't know. Right. But still, TennoCon's happening.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
Yep. I can't think of anything else dojo dusting wise.
Oh, I don't know if Rich told you. You know, he might be really busy afterwards, so he might not be going anywhere, right?
Oh, no, he hasn't told me that.
Because it depends when the first race of the Formula 1 season is, and if it's Silverstone in like late July, he'd be like super.
But so what? We're just going to lose the money?
I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see.
Cool, right?
Everything is, as I hate this term at the moment, everything is fluid.
Why can't it be gaseous?
So non.
Or as Americans say, gaseous.
Take that back now.
Right.
That back.
Moving.
You take that back now, sir.
It got took back. Right. So moving on. What? Yeah. Okay. So moving on.
Well, I just realised I'm on my phone, and the connection isn't great on this either. I'm like, damn, everyone being home and being like, better use my phone.
No. Okay. Right. So moving on. Done dojo dusting. We've done the emblems. We're now going to move on to the Patreon. No, graphs. I know how to do this show. Graphs. So the first graph of the week is: do you have a problem with the launcher damage fall off? Right? Do you remember this?
Wait a minute.
What?
Damn it, Steam!
Is Steam downloading an update?
It's downloading Doom!
Okay.
There we go. Back to good internet. I can see you again.
Right, okay. We can't see me at all. What are you on about? I can't hear you now. Why can't I hear you? You're doing a bit, aren't you?
Right, let's go.
Bastard. Right, so we've got the graphs.
Yay.
Right, do you have a problem with launcher damage fall off? Do you remember this?
Yep.
Cool. 44 people responded. 29% said yes. 70% said no. I went back and I started using a bunch of other, launcher weapons, and I still have no problem with this. LOZ,
I actually was discovering that my optical now has kind of a stagger if I aim it badly. I don't remember it having self-damage, but it must have had a little bit or something. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I think
have to deal with it a bit.
I think the big thing about self-damage... Well, how could you self-damage with an optical? The whole thing was it had radial...
Yeah, explosion at the end, the shot.
Oh, the end of the shot?
Yeah, a little bit of AoE.
Okay. So
but do I care about the fall off on that? Yeah, so if you point at the ground, now it does a little bit of stagger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. The next card we had was, why are you doing liches? 49 people responded. 0% said that they hadn't unlocked them yet. 14% said that they don't know. Sorry, I don't. I don't know why I do liches. Sorry. I don't do liches. 14% said for fun, and 71% said for weapons. So it's very much I feel this is very much a we need to be rewarded for what we do culture than anything else. Which is fair. Anything to add to that?
No, not really. I think looking forward to your next Xeno Codex, which I think you said is going to be about rewards.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna slot one in about rewards. Right, then the third one is, would you like clan liches? Right, so we ended up talking about this, was it yesterday or the day before, when we were going over the Nemesis system again. And for everyone's benefit, LOZ has been playing Shadows. LOZ has finished Shadows of Mordor, and because I was unable to fact check any of my complaints, I was convinced to download it
Yes,
again.
like last week where you were saying things like, in the first game you couldn't mind control orcs. And then like multiple people in the comments were like, and those, you can do it in both.
I've still yet to get to a point where I can mind control orcs.
You don't get it till the second map.
Yeah, so it's like, I put what? Did I say 12 hours?
No.
I can't remember. I put like 12 hours into it before, and I didn't get to the second map because it was still all the bullshit things.
I find they don't do enough with the second map personally, but no.
Anyway. Still shit. Right, so 45 people responded. 8% said no. 15% said that they didn't care. 26% said yes to fight for us. So this was your way of looking at it. And 48% said yes to fight us, which was my way of looking at it. But in all honesty, I don't even know how you could do, tiered liches like in Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah, exactly. I just think it's just, I like fighting. I don't want to get... that's why I suggested something that's completely different, because that's what Warframe needs, and it needs to be integrated with something like deepening the lich system. Having it fight us, it'd be like, yay, I get to fight us. I fight lich. Right, you can already do that. Yeah, but it'll be better. How?
Yeah.
Just what?
Well, we'll have longer cutscenes and, just random interruptions of, I'm here now to fight you. And then you kill them, and then they come back with bags over their heads.
Just I know a very broad general statement about Warframe, but I would say not to be mean, because I love the game so much, but I would say the weakest part of the game, and even though they've made bounding strides in it lately, but still it takes them a long time to do it, the weakest thing for the core gameplay is boss fights in Warframe. They can't do boss fights. They're getting better, but they're still not their strongest. thing to do gameplay wise.
Yeah, I'm still an advocate for, was it hardcore or hard mode or nightmare mode boss fights where bosses have additional abilities more than just, oh well, it's level 150 now. Give it.
Well, I think part of the reason is because they always try and make boss fights to be a big thing. They never just like go and here's an end of boss that you just fight for this end of boss. And because they always have to make them they always put them on pedestals. They just always tinker with them, and they're not used to just chucking bosses at us. They just always have to be these special events to the point that they get over designed, or they seem to go in development hell for years. And then when they get here, they're not that great anyway. The last couple have been all right, but even then they feel quite early. They don't feel like amazing. Warframe doesn't have that one amazing boss fight yet.
What? Not even the Exploiter Orb?
They're better, but that's just like that's what I would expect for like a middle of a game kind of thing. Like that they haven't managed to make either an amazing end of game worthy boss fight or even like the climax of the game boss fight. The Exploiter Orb is great, and so is the Rope-a-Dope list, but they're still just like kind of Then you do them, and you're like,
But what would count towards this is an amazing boss fight? Like
they're like, I'd say they're like half or a little bit over half the way there in what you do, how you fight it, how you learn it, what it does in response, your interaction with the mob, the difficulty, the reward, all these things come in together.
See, the difficulty I see is the fact that when you do a boss, when you first finish a boss, you then know how to do the boss. And if you're not looking at the value of the boss from when you first encounter the boss, it'll always depreciate in value. And more often than not, it'll depreciate rapidly. So, when you do... let's throw in some World of Warcraft stuff here. When you do a Nixia's Lair for the first time, right? I imagine it's, when you successfully kill a Nixia for the first time, you feel like a lot of gratification, a lot of reward for doing it. But as soon as you know how to do it, does that not depreciate in value?
Yeah, it takes. The thing is for MMOs is it takes a long time to depreciate because you don't get to just spam them.
Yeah.
Maybe Warframe to do bosses you can only do once a week.
That would be interesting.
Because that's why they don't depreciate, because you're still after your rewards. Same thing for like getting your Agnos kill. That it's the one you're going to get a week, and once you get it, yes, that's the set of rewards you get it this week. And if you fail, which you can still easily do, you ain't going to get those rewards. So you do have it takes a while, and to the point where literally you're just binning all the rewards. The rewards. That's the thing with MMOs. The rewards keep you going, and Warframe and rewards. I'm going to be interested to see how you do this video because it's all about rewards. People might say like, oh, I used to when I was playing Classic recently, and people used to say like, "Oh, I love the game. It's all about this. It's about community." And then some people would always try and say like, "It's raiding's not about getting loot." And I'm like, there's too much loot whoring if you're like only obsessed about loot. But then to try and say you're not obsessed with the loot and the reward is just being, what's the word, disingenuous. Yeah, everyone cares about the loot reward. That's part of the fundamental part of the game. And so yeah. But anyway, moving on. Let's move on for liches because my whole point there is. If you got them to fight the liches in some sort of clan lich system, it's like I don't think they would do any better.
I think they would do worse because it would then create a lot of busy work for clans. To make sure that they're always still active, always still doing stuff. Because how do you judge the liches that you fight? Is it based on the number of active players? Is it based on the size of the clan, so on and so forth? It becomes really overly complicated. So if you have a ghost clan that has 10 people, 10 active players, and then 8 of them walk away from the game, are you still left with those 8 people's worth of liches to fight? Yeah? Or does the whole system just go like, oh, we decided to leave because you are pathetic and meaningless, and it's difficult. It's too difficult to, especially with a live system like this. It's not a controlled environment.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool. Right. So let's move on and do the Patreon questions.
Cool. Let me find them.
Pretty sure I sent them to you. Pretty sure.
Scroll up. There we are. Oh god, lots more stuff now. So, Joshua Minich, if the flotilla review is for the Scott.
Did you genuinely get his name wrong on purpose, or did you forget?
I tried to do it without looking. Did I get it wrong?
You got it wrong. It's Minich.
Minich. Yeah, I scrolled up. Tried to do it from memory. Gotta get those. Minich. If the flotilla relay is for the flotilla relay is for the Scarlet Spear event, will the tortilla relay be unveiled as the hub for the Jade Javelin follow-up event?
Yes. Also,
you never got back to me. Yeah. What is your operator's in your head canon name?
Oh yeah, I'll message him. I'll do that now. Actually,
mine has no name.
Yeah, you said you already said yours had a name.
What was his name?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
I don't think I did.
No, I'm pretty sure you did.
I mean, that's why I literally have him with a face mask and a thing so that he doesn't have a face.
Didn't you go with like Ragnath or something?
I think that's if we were forced to name them, not its in-canon head name. Like, in the actual universe, what would its name be? Like, in my opinion, he just wouldn't have a name. But I think that was like if I was forced to put a name to him based on the game, because that's what I would put. Next one. How many puns about status effects can you make? For example, has it made much of an impact on the whole game?
None. I don't know how to do a pun.
Face cam, is that a thing? Face cam?
Yes.
Right. Nick Evans says, while working from home appears to be a possibility for many of us in the world, do you think it's possible for DE to work from home and actually hit a deadline when it hasn't been possible to do so while working in the office so far? They have hit deadlines in the past. For minor patches. I'm sure they've hit deadlines. They can hit deadlines. And I think they can. I think if you think about where they are, seeing as they're thinking about when the patch can come out, they are probably very close to it. And I think they'll be able to get the work done. And if they need to take 2 weeks rather than 1 week, if they're in the studio to get it done with a little bit of work, they'll get it done. But I think at first people will working from home. At first it'll be like, oh, look, I'm at home. People will chill out a bit and won't do as much work. But then a couple of weeks in, and I'll be like, you
can't see I'm shaking my head. No, that's just not the case.
What?
Well, like, just working from home, just chill out a bit. More often than not, it's just chaotic because people are trying to work out how do communications work. It's like how do talk to people? I forget how. I think D is not going to suffer that much from that because their office is divided in two, and they actually have like a hallway, in a shopping mall or just basically a mall. In the middle of it, they have to communicate easily, and I can't envision people just getting up and walking across to the other side of the building to be able to talk to each other. They're going to have internal communications, like the business equivalent of Discord, which is called Slack.
They do have Slack.
Yeah, but I'm not quite sure if everyone knows what Slack is.
Just say Slack.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone knows what Slack is, because I've seen businesses that haven't got a clue what Slack is.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah, I know.
I don't even use Slack, and I know what Slack is.
But at the same time, like, my company that's now gone full work from home with the whole COVID-19 thing, we are, the developers, the engineers and everything, they're just like, yep, completely on the ball. We know how to do this, right? We could talk, long distances, not a problem. But the CPs and the client partners and the project managers who are not used to be able to who are used to be able to just walk up to someone and ask them a question, that can no longer do that. They are like struggling a bit, and it's something that everyone just needs to get used to. But I think D will have no problem.
I think they'll have a bit of problem, but I'll get used to it. Because this is going to be a long-term thing, everyone. This is probably going to be 3 months, I would suggest. Aim for that. It might be shorter, it might be longer, but aim for at least 3 months in your mind, because that's what you got to do. Right, moving on. Nick Evans also asked, will you ever consider letting other people potentially contribute to the writing episodes of TTL or FFS?
Yeah, totally.
And we have in the past.
Yeah, we have done in the past. It was a bit rocky in some places. I mean, realistically, the thing that I need is directors and, cameramen and crap like that. And I need time.
You have loads of time now.
I'm still working, Loz!
Nick Evans says, if I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me?
No, but I'd question your eyesight.
First of all, it's a song. So don't trick us, Nick Evans. Secondly, if you actually mean these words, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That doesn't make it right. Nick Evans then moves on. How does Loz feel that he's finally been part of an Arbiter's? What was it? Everything he hoped, everything he feared, everything he vaguely realized would happen, wasn't really interested enough to actually find out about until this particular opportunity presented itself. I was on what now? I was just pulled into a room, said, you're going to ask Xeno questions, and then it just started with no fanfare, and I'm like, all right.
No. You guys had like half an hour to prepare questions.
Yeah, I was shoved in a room, told to make questions, then told I'm asking questions. Then we asked the questions, and Xeno just sort of laughs and just maniacally does things, and then that was it. And I was like, right, still don't know what this show is all about. What's the point of this show?
Did you enjoy yourself?
What is this enjoy word you speak of? I do not understand. I am trapped in a room.
Did you giggle over the idea of indigo paperclip?
No.
Did you actually watch the episode?
No.
You need to watch it, Joe. You got edit. There was a bit about that was edited quite nicely.
Very good. Droogle asks, why waste time, say lot words when few words do trick?
What?
Why waste time, say lot words when few words do
the
trick?
Job. Yeah, okay. So I was like, what trick? What are we talking about, a trick?
You got a response to that?
No, soy, ¿dónde está la biblioteca?
Fair enough. Droogle then asked, can we reliably trigger Loz by mentioning Doctor Who?
I knew that was coming as well. I saw the last question on the things. He's triggered now. It's fine. Yes, the answer is yes. Loz, move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. God damn it.
Stop.
Right, move on to the community responses. Hey, at least you haven't watched Picard.
I know of Picard.
Yeah, well...
That's not nearly as bad. Alright, so the difference is...
I'm sorry! Do I need to repeat myself? Android Vulcan Mind Meld.
Yeah, still not as bad.
Android Vulcan Mind Meld.
Right, yeah. No. If you want it to be as bad, right, what it would be is that character that's just done an Android Mind Meld, right, would have to travel back in time and be the one that actually taught the first Vulcan how to do it. That would be the kind of level of disrespect. Like, it is, I don't get me wrong, that's kind of bad, but then step it up to the next level.
How could, no, it just doesn't fucking make sense. Why is an artificial brain able to do telepathic shit?
I'm with you on that, but then if you wanted to move it up to Doctor Who level, make it that character that is doing this, even though they shouldn't be able to do it, was actually the one that traveled back in time and gave Vulcans the ability to do mind melds in the first place. That would be the kind of stupidity that is the new Doctor Who thing. That's how stupid the new Doctor Who thing is.
I don't know. Okay, fine. What about a Romulan security chief at Starfleet?
Well, that could happen.
They're not part of the Federation. How can that happen?
Neither are the Klingons.
The Klingons are. They have an alliance with the Federation.
They have an alliance, but they're not part of. The Romulans have an alliance.
Actually, why wasn't Worf the chief of the security? Worf would make great chief of security.
Yeah, I know. Probably couldn't get Rogel Dawn.
I probably didn't even try.
They probably didn't even try. They didn't want it to be like the next generation thingy of seeing all them. So yeah, even though Rogal Dawn would be like amazing, just be like, you just have to sit there and just speak, just be like, meh.
Why did you say Robo?
I know he's around. It's Rogal Dawn, isn't it? Isn't that?
No, I thought it was Michael Dawn.
Michael Dawn.
I thought it was Michael Dawn.
Oh. Michael Dawn. Oh, Michael Dawn. Don't say Rogal. Where did I get Rogal from? Michael Dawn. He's amazing, and I know he is around and likes it because he does stuff for the Star Trek Online. Yeah. He does voice acting for that, so he's definitely around. They just didn't want to do him. But anyway, let us go on to these comments. Tony Coven and Sikat. Oh, Zrugal. Nidus Deluxe does add some spikes on some of the abilities, at least Stomp and the Tentacle. Atlas Deluxe at least has its own golems. Every Exalted weapon has a Deluxe variant. That's true, but they're not... When we're talking about that, I did forget about those bits, which is true, which is kind of like half the way there. But for instance, the Nidus Deluxe, if it was a proper thing Deluxe as we were meaning, like you have to change all the abilities, not just put a few things in.
No, it's
like the
little
whippets.
I want to jump in because I really feel what's worse about the Nidus Deluxe is it is so intangible. Like unless you know they are there, you will not spot them because it's just a few spikes. If it was like different colors, if it looked more metallic and things like that, or more
a completely different effect. From scratch.
It really like the golems for Atlas. They are completely new meshes and everything like that. That works. That's what Nidus needed. That's not what he got.
Right. Like on his 4th, I'm terrible with Nidus. He spawns the little infested things.
He does the patch and the maggots come out, yeah.
Yeah, and the maggots are still the normal maggots. That's the big one for me. Yeah. They need to be different. They that's how you make it. That's what I meant. That level. But at least there's something, which I don't get me wrong, but they do the same for primes as well.
Yeah.
It did say every exalted weapon has a Deluxe variant.
Every exalted weapon
has a Deluxe variant. I'm not sure on that one, but that's what Tony Coven said. Right, but anyway, let's move on. Cursed Gunner. I had to put this one in. LOL, I still watch this show, even though I haven't played this game in 2.5 months. I was hyped for Railjack, but I knew when I dropped that it wasn't what it was hyped as. Then everyone was like, stop complaining, DE is going to regularly update it, but it's been about up to 3 months and no real updates or missions. LMAO, it's fine, though I play Path of Exile because they drop stuff every 3 months, and I hop into Warframe once a week to visit my dojo just so I don't get kicked out of my clan, but I still enjoyed the long-form podcast, so here I am. Thank you very much, Cursed Gunner, and I hope that maybe we'll be able to tell you when some cool stuff comes out for Railjack. I will say, though, and I'm going to get this before Xeno pops in, now, I agree, I would probably be one of these people who also said, don't worry, they will update Railjack. However, I will also point out, January and March are months that basically do not exist for DE. They just don't. Every year, they barely get a scratch of content out in January and not that much out maybe in February. And it's the end of February before you see anything big. March before anything really you can sink your teeth into. So, yeah, they trust me, that Railjack will get... I'll stake my game-playing Warframe career that they will get back to Railjack. There will be more missions. They will add more stuff to it. I mean, they haven't even got around to doing the command system, but they'll get there. It's just that, I don't know what it is, but just January and February are never good months. They kind of get everything out they can before Christmas, and then they just, I don't know, they all get drunk over Christmas, and it takes them months to recover. It's kind of that kind of thing. But just got to give it time. But I like to see that the point I love about this comment from Cursed Gunner is he's doing exactly what he should do. Instead of just going, Warframe hasn't got any content, I'm burning out, where's the content? He picks another game, Path of Exile, great game. Playing that, it's giving him the content, and then eventually he can be, calms down on Warframe, gets his fill of Path of Exile, sees an update for Warframe, can come back and enjoy it, rather than people who just keep going on to Warframe day after day, burning themselves out. This is very good. Well done, Cursed Gunner, and it's nice to hear you listening.
Yeah, no, I completely concur. The only addition I will add is the whole, the squad linking thing that's supposed to be coming with Scarlet Spear. My hope is that this will be something that stays rather than is a proof of concept, much like the survival event many years ago, and then goes away to get, updated or whatever. So I'm hoping that what they do is a more complete version of the final product. The only concern I have is that each mission doesn't have alternative objectives. Sorry, optional objectives. It's all, oh no, this is what you got to do. This is, which is not what it was originally pitched to be back in TennoCon. It was originally pitched at TennoCon that you had second squad, beta squad, that was just, oh, we're gonna fish. Oh yeah, let's just see if anyone wants us to do anything. But now it's a forced setup of, you four go do this, you four go do that. Which
but so you're saying you wanted the kind of casual secondary objective on normal missions?
No, you
for beta squad.
Kind of. Is that what you wanted? Not how they presented it. I wanted it to say like, Loz needs help with his railjack mission. Do you want to help him in your mission? You have a thing that you could do, and you just hit yes, and then it's like, right, here's a secondary objective. Go, steal this thing. I think
that's a lot of work. That basically every map would have to be loading and preparing a secondary hidden objective that you would only activate when and if that appeared.
Yeah.
I don't know how much work that would be.
Neither do I. But the whole point I'm trying to make is that this is something...
I think the thing is, you're applying what was very easy to do on the open world to what is probably very, very complex in other missions. And you're just going, yeah, I want that thing.
My concern is that this is just going to be another mission type that is going to get...
I'm with you on that. I do feel that it's like,
why do I do this thing?
Yeah, no. The special feel of it is that kind of casual secondary mission objective. Like, I'm in the middle of my exterminate, and it comes up.
Oh, go do the spy vault.
Drew needs help.
Yeah.
By the way, that we could help him out by going to that nearby spy vault, and you're like, "What spy vault?" And a door opens up, and you're like, "Oh, down there."
Yeah.
It's like, obviously, your character ignored it because the info wasn't useful for your objective right now, but it could be objectives now. Like, that's been re-evaluated as useful to him right now. You could go do it. And I'm with you on that. Maybe you could do it. I'm not sure if you could do it on... Maybe it could be done on endless missions. Like, if you're doing an endless mission, because the maps are going to be smaller. Like, if you're in the middle of... Well, maybe not survival. I don't even say this one. Like, survival, interception, defense, because they're endless. If you were just doing a defense and it said nearby communication mast is having some useful data, do you wish to assist? And you go yes, because you're going to be in that for a longer time than normal. It'd be easy for it to pop up and say, hey, by the way, there's the secondary thing that somebody wants you to do. Whereas if it's just, I think it'd be very hard to get them done if you were just doing captures, for instance, because you just blitz them in 2 minutes.
Yeah, maybe so captures are just not eligible. Maybe rescues are not eligible. Maybe it's like exterminates, spies.
But even so, I think it would still be important for it to start like this is going to start with like you doing a specific mission for this, because you need people doing the secondary objectives. So I think it'd be cool if both existed.
The whole point of what I was proposing is that it's more dynamic, it's more flexible. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. You don't have to be in the right place at the right time. It's the right place comes to you.
Right, but I'm pointing out that also, if you're going to look at a 2-hour play session of normal missions, non-endless, I think the majority of the time players will spend them in a set, not in a mission.
Actually, that's a question I want to know. Do people prefer doing I don't know, short-lived missions or endless missions? Because I remember Headshot years ago, he was saying like he hated survival missions because that's what they always did for the void keys.
I think that was just more because of the repetition. Because of
but my point is that, do you prefer short-lived missions like captures, rescues, some stuff like that, or do you prefer long-lived missions where you're not constantly coming in and out, don't choke and die? But I'm going to ask that as a question. Do you prefer short-lived or endless missions? Are you done dying?
No. Fair enough if you want to put that as a question, but I think it's a bit meh.
No, honestly, I prefer the short-lived stuff.
I like both. But I think they have their own. They all add to the game, and I like them both. I wouldn't choose to do one or the other. Anyway, let's keep going. Where are we at?
I'm not giving a both option.
Host and Fisk says Riven disposition should be tied to MR tiers. That's what I would live to see.
No. You want me to elaborate?
No, that's fine. Yokai1235 has linked to video.
You done
linked
dying?
To video? No, I'm done dying. Someone just sent me a message. I'm going to have to check. Yokai1235 has linked me a video. I will make sure I watch that. It's to do with liches. I just didn't get time to do it for this one, but I've put it in my thing to remember for next time. Pepper says Rivens can be locked behind Master Rank 18 currently, which is the highest Master Rank gate in the game, so it's 18.
Okay. Type.
Last one. Illidrian says one day ago. Xeno complaining about the use of the term islands of content to describe the separate DE systems, despite the fact Steve himself coined the phrase at TennoCon when talking about the plains and valleys. And then later on to describing bringing all the disparate systems they themselves admit should be linked together. This is also while acknowledging that Railjack is an island, and yet somehow trying to defend the Kuva Lich system, which beyond... Oh, wow. This is all while acknowledging that Railjack is an island, yet somehow trying to defend the Kuva Lich system, which, beyond stealing your rewards and occasionally popping into a mission, is not linked to the rest of the game in a meaningful way. I honestly don't know why you chose to get bugged about this descriptor, mate. It's literally the second most apt one after Ruins of the Castle on top of Ruins of the Castle, Loz mentioned. Wait, I'm confused. Did you say that Kuva Liches were an island in the game?
No, I said they weren't.
They weren't.
Yeah, because you still use your Tenno, you still use your Warframe, you still use your guns. Whereas Railjack and Arcwing, like, there is no real joining mechanics to what you've already accumulated. You had to start again. With the Plains of Eidolon, with Orb Valis, you still had your powerful equipment. With the Kuva Liches, you still have your powerful equipment, right? Okay, fine. Ruins of a castle on top of the ruins of a castle. You can say that the Kuva Lich system is a castle on top of the body of the core gameplay, the gunplay, the melee system, so on and so forth. That still exists. But Railjack is a separate island of content. I get bugged by this because it's a poor descriptor and people understand stuff to mean one thing, and they then spread misinformation because they don't understand how the thing works.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, call it anal retentive, I don't know, but I don't like it when people describe things wrong, when they use the wrong terms.
Yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah. So I remember, like, the one thing you always hate is when people use data mining correctly.
Yeah, when people use data mining wrong. You know, and just because people are using it wrong doesn't mean that you should redefine the definition of it.
Exactly. Right, but that's it for the comments. So let's move on to the topics of the week.
Right. So topic 1. Interesting lore clarification on the last prime time.
Ooh.
Scroll down. Is there a reason why every common Railjack resource needs a special UI pop-up? Then topic 3. The owner of the Railjack should get priority. So let's go to topic 1. And both Loz and I care oh so much. That sounds sarcastic. We care a lot about the lore of Warframe. And would you say I care more about the lore of Warframe than you do? I think it's equal.
I wouldn't. It's not something I think that needs to be competitive. I would both say, I think we both could say, though, that one of our greatest interests and enjoyments of the game is the lore. Mm-hmm. We would both put it easily in our top 5 or less of important reasons.
Yeah. Well, right.
I think that'd be a fair comparison, because it is. We're both very similar on these things. We don't play games going, oh, I just enjoy the game. We like to know why we're playing the game. What's the game? What is the story the game is trying to play?
Yeah.
And trying to say. It's very important to both of us.
Yeah, which is why I never understand why people don't read the quests of World of Warcraft.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's sometimes in an area or a zone I'd get bored and be like, this quest is not important because it's about goblins in the corner of the map trying to sell bones of basilisks or something stupid. And like, okay, this is not adding to the lore. But don't get me wrong, when it gets to the important stuff, I'm like, right, we're attacking this major city. I better read the lore.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Why am I murdering civilians?
Yeah. Right. Many people, myself included, figured that primed warframes, since their creation via the lost Orokin technology, were essentially stronger prototypes in use before the fall of the Empire that the Tenno and others couldn't imitate in full. I did read that right, didn't I?
You did, word for word.
Okay. This led to questions like, how does Valkyr Prime fit into the base version? How does Valkyr Prime fit if the base version was experimented on? What about Titania and other quest frames that reward you with the base version despite the quest being in the Orokin era? Sorry. Why does the Levarian depict the base version of the frame rather than the Prime? On Prime Time, Reb mentioned that the Ivara Levarian occurs when Ivara hasn't been primed yet. This makes me think that the primes are not original prototypes, but actually elite variants of the original Warframe, similar to Eczema. I don't know if that's supposed to be Xmas, but these upgrades are given to them when they perform a great feat of combat prowess, such as Ivara's single-handed capture of the Myrmidon. What are your thoughts on this?
I just thought I'd Google Eczema, and I'm confused as to they're trying. It seems like the only thing I can find of it is the wiki, and the wiki is using Eczema as a singular for Xmas.
Okay.
Why not? Why? There's an Xmas. Over there is 7 Xmas units.
Yeah.
It's like popcorn. They're now using the term Eczema. Yeah. Eczema of this type have innate resistance to 50% of all damage types. Blitz Eczema are exclusive to Corpus. No, Blitz Xmas. What? Why? Who's coming up with this? Did you do this?
I don't think so.
I don't remember saying Eczema in game.
Well, whenever you have like a Frost Xmas unit, you have a Blast Xmas unit. It's like sheep. There's a sheep. There's some sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm replying to this Reddit thread. What is this use of the word Eczema? Xmas is both a plural and singular.
Yeah. Anyway.
This is stupid. So I'm not going to... First of all, I don't want to say... I don't... Unless somebody can correct me. If I'm wrong and this is an established fact, then fine. But to me, it just feels wrong. Until I see something that is more authoritative, I'm going to say that's wrong. So I'm going to go with Xmas, because it's...
Isn't Xmas like a pronoun?
I think Xmas is just a made-up word.
Well, no, I mean, like... It's a word that wouldn't warrant plural or singular. Anyway, let's.
I don't know, because I think it's more of an adjective. There is an Xmas Lancer. There is an Xmas Ancient. It's more descriptor, but it also works as a noun. There is an Xmas. Like, you wouldn't say there is a sweet for... I'm going back to the popcorn example. There's buttered popcorn, so the popcorn, but then that's like there are buttered sweets and butter is a thing, but then you wouldn't say there is a butters, or there is a sweets.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I just don't like the idea of Eczema. It just seems stupid. Anyway, so what they're saying is Reb has now made a specific thing that the Prime is not the first version and that it works the other way around. These upgrades were given to them and performed a great feat of combat precision.
So, I don't know about you, but there's a bunch of this that doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Well, for example, how on earth do we have a prime variant of Limbo after Limbo blew himself up?
Yeah,
How do we have...
Well, no, it still doesn't... It's still... By saying this, is there multiple Limbo?
No, see, my understanding was that there wasn't.
Yeah.
Because it was the one that blew himself up.
This is my problem with...
The same with Aniros, right? Aniros was the guardian of the sand. The Sky people feared, it's like, cowered before him. Do you remember the Aniros? He just worked out what
I said. Guardian of the sand. The Sky cowers before him.
No, Sky people cower before him.
The Sky people cower before him. Fuck off. Yeah. No, you see, yeah, it needs to be clear. I mean, I don't know. Have they done any of their official movie scenes that show multiple of the same frame in it?
No. No, they never have.
I think it's more... It's sort of like a game like Overwatch. You could have Tracer be on both sides of the game, but there is only one Tracer.
Yeah. Well,
I think that
like the problem is that with Overwatch, canonically, it doesn't make any sense because, you know, God, Jesus, wow, Reaper, wow, good Freudian slip there. Reaper and Soldier 76 wouldn't be on the same team.
No, you could come up with some sort of Marvel Comics stupidity about why they're on the same team.
But you would have a super bad that they would fight against, which currently no super bad exists.
No, you could have it that, and they could even have that like Soldier 76 and Reaper.
Yeah,
like they're fighting against the rest of Overwatch, but they don't know that you've got a whole of a Hydra behind the scenes thing, and it's you know, you don't realize what's going on.
Yeah, it's just Civil
like War kind of thing.
There's no method, but one of the reasons I feel Warframe has managed to get away with, but right now there are hundreds of thousands of the same Warframe everywhere, is exclusively because of the whole cloning duplication thing with Excalibur Umbra.
Yeah, that's the thing the game needs to decide on, because what about alternate helmets as well? Is it that there is only one Excalibur and all the other alternate helmets are just random bits of other alternative helmets that Excalibur wore? Or is it that those are different copies of the frame? Because that would allow for variants on the frame. It's like...
I think
which way is it?
I think originally it was equipment, because if you think way back when, with the arcane variants of the helmets, like they had stats. So it was like wearing a different piece of armor, but it was still Loki underneath it with the Swindle helmet. So I think that was the objective. It wasn't like how we perceive them with Faulty Frame Squad and Tactical Terror League. They have different names. Yeah. It's, you know, so...
But you are right that this then contradicts with the... It's like there was an Avara, and that Avara eventually got primed. But that doesn't make sense for Valkyr or Limbo, because they either died before they got primed, or
they were created after the Orokin era.
Yeah, they were not in their prime form after the Orokin era, which is just like, they need to lock this down.
So,
this is silly.
I mean, I think a simple fix for Valkyr is Valkyr was always Valkyr before, like, the whole Gethsemane skin and all that stuff. Like, Valkyr was always Valkyr before Alad V got his hands on her, but all Alad V was just disfigure her. Right? So that could allow for a Valkyr Prime, right? Limbo, you could say the primes are not the same Warframe, but they replicated the Warframe. Like, so how you've got Excalibur Prime and Excalibur Umbra, right? So, yes, we're using Excalibur as the base, but we're making a primed version of him, right? That could explain Limbo blowing himself up, but they still had the base blueprint of Limbo, and they created a prime variant of him. Yeah? Does that,
so they can make a second copy, basically.
Yes. That's how I interpret the whole Excalibur to Umbra thing. The thing that I have issue with was I'm pretty sure Excalibur Prime's codex entry says he is the first Warframe.
I think it says like Excalibur is the first, but that would still...
No, I thought it was specifically the Prime version.
Yeah, but it could be that he was then primed, is what they're saying.
Well, that's what they're saying now. And if that's the case, change the plot, right? Retcon it, right? Because one of the biggest holes we had in terms of plot was Nova. Because Nova was supposed to be designed by...
Well, no, they added a lot. They obviously
they did
it was
change
designed by the players, and they actually put that in game. And then they were like, "Oh, that doesn't make sense because that means Warframes are made in the new era." And it's like, right, we need to retcon this, so they kind of retconned it.
Yeah. So I think it is. I still think there are things that they need to highlight. There's still things that they need to elaborate on. Like, did the Prime variants ever have control of themselves? You know, like, I think with the MDRLOz one, I can't remember if it was implied that MDRLOz was originally from the colony that Barrow was from. I can't remember because it's been so long since I've done that quest.
Yeah. You can't repeat that quest, can you?
No, there's so many quests you can't repeat. That's something that I'd really like them to jump on.
Well, the sad thing is, I don't think they're going to ever bother getting it right. I'm coming to the feeling that though they try and care about some lore continuities, I don't think they want to nail the entire plot down.
I think they're not bothered to fix any continuity issues because the players aren't that interested in it.
Yeah, it doesn't affect the people playing day to day, and as long as people have a rough idea what's going on. There were Warframes in the past. There are Prime Warframes which are better. Something dark side.
Yeah. You know? So it's because like interactions with existing characters don't make sense. There's like a perfect example is Little Duck. You know, she, for some strange reason, in the comics is fine working with Warframes. Then at Fortuna, she will not talk to Warframes. Then during the disruption missions, she's perfectly happy to talk to Warframes. And it's like, why did she not want to talk to Warframes at Fortuna?
The disruption missions I don't think matters because that's just that's kind of like a long distance thing. She kind of is talking to both in that regard.
I agree, but even so, you could say that she's talking to both at Fortuna. So it's
no, because that's in person. There's a choice there. She literally couldn't. She couldn't be like, I'm not going to send a message unless you get out of your Warframe. That doesn't make sense.
Well, she could, but as you said,
no, she couldn't, because for you to hear it, you'd have to be hearing it while in your Warframe.
We don't actually know how their phones work. How their space phones. We don't. We don't.
But you'd still have to hear it while you're in your Warframe to go get out your Warframe.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in person, it's easy to go, I'm not talking to you like that. Get out of that. It's like if you walked into a bank wearing a motorcycle helmet with it down, they'll try and shoot you probably, but they'll be like, we're not dealing with you while you're wearing that motorcycle helmet, and you have to take the motorcycle helmet off. But they can tell you that in person, but the bank doesn't phone you up and say, I know you're wearing a motorcycle helmet. Take that motorcycle helmet off before we talk to you about your banking stuff.
I remember years, like, oh God, this is going back years and years and years ago when I was a kid. Like
years and years and years ago.
yes, it was snowing really heavily, and I wore a balaclava to stay warm and things. I popped into a petrol station to just pick up a sandwich and a drink, and like literally, I stepped through the door and everyone freaked the fuck out. I had to take it off immediately, otherwise, God knows what would have happened.
Yeah, because it's a balaclava, Drew.
Yeah, I know. But apparently the fact that it's like bloody blizzard outside doesn't mean shit all, and I'm a kid.
Doesn't matter. People can't tell that you're a kid.
I know.
Just be a very smart out. But it's actually, that's more, I don't know if other countries that'd be acceptable, but it's kind of actually more a British thing. We like to know who we're dealing with, and we don't. I mean, you might have been like, "Oh, it's cold. I want to wear this thing," and you're a kid. Obviously, I know what you like when you're young. But still, we don't like not seeing who we're talking to.
Yeah.
We like that direct communication that I know who you are and you can see who I am.
Actually, I completely agree with this, because one difficulty I have is we do the whole face cam thing. So people recognize us by face.
Yeah.
When someone comes up to me at like a convention and thinks, "Oh, I'm so-and-so," it genuinely takes me a moment to adjust to it, because yes, I've been talking to you via text, yes, I've been talking to you audibly, but I don't know your face. So it takes me a moment, and I feel uncomfortable doing so, associating the voice to the face that I never had before. And I am a little standoffish, so I can totally get where that's coming from.
It is a British thing that we like to see and know people's faces. Like you say, yeah, at first we're like, oh.
Yeah.
If you know someone's face, you'd be more open about them because you know who they are. You can see their face, and you're used to that. Yeah. I know there's probably other countries to be the same thing, but it is actually a very important thing in Britain.
Well, I've turned around now and said, like, if I'm going to meet you at TennoCon, can you please send me a photo of what you look like before we meet? Just so I am not like completely caught off guard. Because I just feel like that. But so I can appreciate why Little Duck, right?
Yeah,
wants to talk to the Tenno in person, right? But it does feel like, why does she want to talk to the Tenno in person? There's no motivation given to the actions. Granted, you don't need it, but I think one of the big things that was shown off during the demo of the Scarlet Spear event during the last dev stream was that Little Duck then had no issue talking to Warframes.
Yeah.
And it's like, but if she had an issue before, why does she have no issue now? What's happened?
The actual truth is that before that was on the Valis, that was the rep to do with getting the amps, which is a thing to do with Tenno. So like, oh, let's make them use this is the equivalent of Onco, and at Onco you have to do your thing with your Tenno. So now we're going to do this here. This is my pet hate about how they do development, that everything is always linked together for the new thing. I've said it in the past.
Right. Topic at hand.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that, yes, you could say primes are the updated, that they're the version 2 of the original. But this does not fix any of the continuity issues with Valkyr or other Warframes. Like, should we go to the replies?
Yeah, sure. Still doesn't explain why Nidus Prime is a thing. I'm the law?
Okay.
I assume that's in the lore. Nidus is the failed prototype of the first Warframe. It makes no sense there would happen to be a primed version of him, lore-wise at least.
Wait. Is it?
Look.
How? When? Where does it say that he's the failed attempt at the first Warframe? I thought the whole point was that after they created Nidus, they then...
It says lore. But Myconians aren't asking for charity. Then such understanding of infestation comes from an old war relic, a relic that I know will be extremely dangerous to you. Turns to the Tyrone relic yours for consumption. Let us know about the history of Nidus Warframe. Have the Myconians version investigation reveals the infested strain that created Nidus has helped them understand how to become immune to it, allowing them to fast in flesh. Nidus has a mysterious connection with the Helminth. Being the only Warframe that can purposely be infected by the Helminth virus, the extent of the relationship is currently unknown. Trivia. No, it doesn't say anything about him being the first Warframe.
Or the failed. But, I think also you just said something about him being susceptible to the Helminth infestation.
Nidus has a mysterious connection with the Helminth besides being the only Warframe that can purposely be infected by the Helminth virus. The extent of relationship is currently unknown.
Right.
Wait, the Helminth virus comes from Nidus.
Maybe, but the whole point is that...
No, it does.
That's
how you get infected. You have to do to get a Warframe infected, you do a mission with Nidus.
But the sacrifice states the fact that Warframes are made using the Helminth strain of the infestation.
Yes, I know. But if I've got a rhino, if I want to get this rhino neck infected, I have to go play a mission with Nidus.
Not just Nidus, it could be anyone that's been infected previously, but yes.
Right, but... but who is patient zero in that scenario?
Oh yeah, totally Nidus. But my confusion here is, like, how can you be infected with what made you? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you not see how I'm confused?
The word Nidus is Latin root nest. There you go. Is defined as the site of origin for disease or bacteria, or a place where bacteria multiplies.
I remember StarCraft, the Nidus Canal. What?
Yeah, it doesn't say anything on here. No, that's a very good point. That's very good. I was just remembering it in my head. Nidus Canal. I was like, yeah. But yeah, there's nothing on here about him being first Warframe, so I can just go away.
No, but it does raise a point of how do you prime Nidus, though?
Yeah, exactly. That is a fair point they're putting forward. It doesn't make sense. Next one. People are hung up on the notion that primed Warframes and weapons are actual pieces of ancient Orokin technology. That doesn't mean they were the first or even necessary prototype Warframes, just that they existed in the Orokin era and presumably saw use. I don't know. Do you know, I bet you, it kind of feels like it's common knowledge that the primes are first, or they feel like first.
Can we get the Excalibur Prime Codex entry?
Yeah, sure. I think they said that somewhere on a dev stream ages ago. I mean, we're dealing with years here, so... Prime. Excalibur Prime is the episode of Mortality and Defense. It features the same abilities as Excalibur, but has a unique mod. No, that's not it. It just said... Is that the same one as basic Excalibur? So for Prime, it says, the Sentients had won, they turned our weapons or technology against us, the more advanced we became, the greater our losses, the war was over unless we found a new way. In our desperation, we turned to the void, the blinding night, the hell space where our science and reason failed. We took the twisted few that returned from that place, we built a frame around them, a conduit of their affliction, gave them the weapons of the old, gun and blade, a new warrior, a new code was born. These rejects, these Tenno, became our saviors. Warrior gods cast in steel and fury, striking our enemies in a way they could never comprehend. Excalibur was the first.
Right, okay. I always assumed that meant Excalibur Prime was the first.
Yeah.
What does Excalibur's Codex entry say? Wow, Excalibur's Codex entry doesn't exist.
It says a perfect balance of motility and offense. Excalibur is the ideal Warframe for new players.
Yeah.
I really don't think that anymore. / is useless. Moving on. Considering how the Orokin were, do you actually think there would do anything less than make a fully gilded Prime right away? Or, at the most, they probably made the frames looking like the full Prime, except some extra details like full gilding and all the extra spiky metal bits were added afterwards. But then what's the point of testing something if you aren't actually going to test the full product? Yeah, I know. This is where it's sad, because instead of coming up with the set lore for this, they're basically doing it by ear and just running it that gameplay-wise, we have a separate version of the frame that you can spend money on. That is actually what's going on. It's very sad. They don't seem to be wanting to stick to anything concrete on this. And the last one is, ever since playing the Sacrifice, my theory has been there are the original prototypes converted from humans, example, Excalibur Umbra, which are then either redesigned or altered directly into an ornate production model, primed form. Non-primed versions are then a shallow imitation of the original Warframe produced with what surviving information we have of the original designs. See, this is the kind of thing which is trying to make logic of it, and I don't think they have any logic for it. There is no mass production. There is no which order they make them in. They just literally DE made frames when they designed the game. They made Warframes, and they're like, oh, we should make super versions. So they started making primes. Then they're like, oh yeah, they're just like better versions. And then it was like, okay, where do they fit lore-wise in? We don't know. And then they're like, oh, and here's an Umbra, which just basically ruins this whole system you've been building. Okay, why are you adding it in? Because we think it's cool. And it's like, right, how does this all fit together?
Yeah, to be honest, I would much prefer Umbra's plot that it's not he can be infected with the Helminth virus, he can be infected with the Helminth strain. He can just be infected with the regular strain as well. So he had the Helminth and the infestation strains, which is why he became how he has. But like this, I genuinely think there was one Limbo, there was one Mirage.
What are you talking about? The normal strain?
Just the one that's commonly referred to as the infestation. Not the Mutalist infestation, not the Helminth.
All Warframes were made from the Helminth strain.
Yes, but what I'm proposing... That was my point previously. Right, but what I'm proposing is that Nidus was infected with both the Helminth and the regular infestation.
No.
No? Why?
You have no evidence for that.
Yeah, no, that's just not canon, right? Because what's currently written down says that he was infected with the Helminth strain,
as every Warframe was.
But that's why I'm like, what? So why was he infected with the Helminth strain any different from any other Warframe?
No, it's more. I think no. I think you're. Think of it more that that every Warframe reacts to the Helminth strain differently, and his body sort of took it upon itself and became a production facility of it. Whereas all the other Warframes were injected with, let's say, 100 Helminth viral loads, and they warped and changed and became concrete. Whereas he was injected with it and remained fluid, so they could keep making more Helminth. So it's not that they're both infected with the same thing. It's just his body turned into a factory for it. Other ones, it sort of burned itself out into a form.
Do you think that...
I would use science words where it'd be like pluripotent and omnipotent for like cell progression, where you can get some cells which become cells which can become other cells, but eventually the cell will become a point where it can't change into any other cells, and it's like concreted in then.
So
but early on, it could become other things.
So my question to you is, do you think that when the Orokin would create the Warframes, that they molded the creation, or they just injected them and saw what came out?
B.
Yeah, I like B so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
I can't believe they chose to build Grendel. They were like... Right, the Orokin were like sitting around a desk and being like, right, guys... It's like the development team. We need to make a new Warframe to battle these evil things which are trying to eat us up. What should we try this time? We got fire one, we got frost one.
Oh no, damn! I came up with a brilliant thought in my head, and then I realized that it's just been completely debunked. You know how Suda, she is the cephalon of that one Archimedean that was suffering from Alzheimer's, right? I was going to say, what if Octavia, right, is the body of the leftovers? So they made, they created the cephalon from the mind, but then they used the body to create Octavia. But Octavia was there in the comic, and I was like, God damn it! That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
It would have been so cool.
That would have been cool, and also, if it was done like that, that would make sense why... That kind of thing would make sense why some Warframes don't seem to have a personality.
Yeah.
Like Umbra was made from somebody with a mind. All the other Warframes were made from sort of dead people.
What if Ash's body, right, was Ordis's...
Yeah.
Yeah, Auden Karras's body. That would have... Oh! Damn, that would have been so cool.
Yeah, and because they're just from the dead body and they use dead bodies for it. So it's like, yeah. I also still like the fact that it's just random. They just inject it and then they just do random things.
I agree.
It makes more sense. Right. That's it for the replies.
Cool. Right.
I feel this is a topic which is always going to float around in Warframe because I don't think they're ever going to fix this plot vagueness.
Yeah, I think loads of people are going to have different interpretations, different understandings of the situation.
Not really understand. I just think that DE hasn't locked it down, and to be honest, I bet you we're going to see more things which will contradict more things in the future because I don't think they really want to iron this down.
Well, no, what I mean is you've got one person here saying that Nidus was the first Warframe, but you've got there's nothing that alludes to this whatsoever. How have you come to this conclusion? But I think
disregard that. I just disregard that.
No, but that my point is that I think there are plenty of people out there that have this head canon, right? And if we were to go talk to this person, they would argue blue in the face that Nidus was the first Warframe, even though you and I are both disregarding it because there is no proof of it. You know, but it makes sense because he has the Helminth virus. It's like, yeah, but they could have had the Helminth virus before. Like, how would they make him without the Helminth virus? Yeah. You know? So I really would like to have some more clarification. And I do like the idea that the Warframes that you don't have to fight with mentally, unlike Umbra, they were just cephalonized Warframes. Like, hell, who would be...
or dead people.
Yeah, or dead people. Yeah, dead. But, like, you know, who would be Samaris?
I don't want... Yeah, see, the thing is now you're going for... I don't want to go down that route too much because now you're like, oh, yeah, that means every Cephalon's body is a Warframe. No. And that's what you're just doing. You go like, well, who's Cephalon? Was Samaris? I'm like, who's Warframe was
Samaris' body never got Warframe. There you go.
There you go. Yeah. You see, that's the thing. I'd rather do that than start doing like, yeah.
You know, or alternatively, it failed. I mean, you know, can any of them fail to Warframe? One thing I would like off the back of the Ivara Laverian, I hope we hear who the other two Warframes were, but we never get them. I'd like to learn about them, but learn about them in history, not in obtaining them. And my concern is that as soon as we get teased, these are Warframes that, you know, failed, right? Everyone's going to want them, just like fucking Umbra.
Umbra was different because it was the Chinese Prime release thing.
Yeah, but there was no plot behind him in the slightest.
Yes, but he was a 3D model. People can get behind it. Why don't we have that 3D cool model with the scarf? People can't get behind. Okay. What was up with those other Warframes that are literally mentioned in one line of text?
What about oh god, what was the name of Red Skittles concept? You know the one I'm talking about. I swear it begins with a T. I can't remember. But like, you know, how often were people demanding that? They just had a sketch. They just had
he did a lot more than one sketch, though.
No, he did, right? But everyone wanted it. You know? So if they elaborated on the plot of these other two Warframes, I bet bottom dollar no one would be happy with just having the plot. Just having the history of these two Warframes. That's why I think they're nameless.
Typhus!
That was it. You know.
He did a lot of pictures for that, though.
Yeah, but you get my point, though.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway.
That was cool. Man, he was a good artist.
Yep. I don't know what he's up to these days. Right. I kind of want to ask a card, which is, would you be happy learning about the two dead Warframes from Ivara's Laverian? It's a long-worded question. What do you think?
Do you think we will ever know? Will the law ever make sense? Perfect sense. Yes, no, D, don't care.
Pretty sure everyone's okay. Will the law ever make sense? Perfect sense? Perfect sense.
Frame law? Can you fit that in? Will the frame law?
Will the Warframe? No, frame. Because we're not talking about the game, we're talking about the frames.
The frames. Yeah.
Will the frame law ever make perfect? Yeah, that's easily fit. Well, so we'll ask that. I think DE do care. I just don't think they have the capacity to action on it.
No, I like if you ask Steve, I say Steve cares.
Yeah.
However, their caring is beaten by their we are a games company that needs to pump out games and produce money, and so they just I don't mean that in a mean way. It sounds mean. No.
Oh, that's what I meant. Apologies. I thought that's what I said. Yeah, I think they care, but I don't think they can action on it. They will always go, yes, let's put out Railjack. Let's put out the Kuva Lich system. Let's put out, they're like, we care, but it's not on the forefront of our mind.
And then it's like, right, we're going to make this new frame that does this thing. It's like, oh, but that contradicts all these little other things in the law. It's like, yeah, but we need to get this stuff out. So we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to topic 2.
Cool. Topic 2. Right. Is there any reason why every common Railjack resource needs to be a special UI pop-up? Imagine if you got one of those pop-ups every time you picked up a ferrite or rubido or detonite ampules. You're picking up these very common resources basically all the time, so you're getting a giant pop-up with swooshing noises for every single one. It clutters the UI, covers weapon info like the heat bar. Wait, what? It clutters the UI, covers weapon info like the heat bar and ordnance count, and it delays the pop-up of actual real rewards like salvage. The Forge isn't a good reason either. The same information could easily be relayed by having them pop up in the bottom middle as text, like other common resources, and the Forge is almost always in use, so you know what you've got anyway.
Yeah, I'm behind this person. The reason I think it is like this is because they added these resources in as rewards from mining before we got in our Railjacks, and those pop up. So I think they just literally, because they pop up there, they have to pop up in space missions. But they really shouldn't. What they're saying is they should appear at the bottom middle of the screen like it does when you pick up ferrite or detonite ampules. It's kind of a minor thing. And it does mean that when you're doing Railjack missions, there's kind of a delay as it's just trying to get through all the toasts that have to keep popping up every single time you get all these items. And they really should alter it for the basic resources, just pop up at the bottom in the minor thing and allow, oh, look, you got an engine to pop up on the side only. I'm with them.
Do we need to know about these resources at all? Like how many we pick up? We've just picked up
what?
You know, like,
you want it to be kind of minor, like that if you were checking. Because let's say you are
but
farming.
Do you have a check?
Yeah, because let's say I'm it's yes and no, it depends. Because when you want these resources, you do care, but when you're just doing the mission for sake of doing mission, you don't. It's very rare but back in the day there used to be times I would farm for plastids.
Yeah.
And so I would want to know when I picked up plastids, but that's why it would appear at the bottom of the screen in the middle.
Yeah.
You picked up 23 plastids, kind of minor, so that I could be like, what was, because that was back in the days of like the yellow cake tins.
But that was also back in the days when you couldn't see mission progress either. You couldn't hold down tab or press P.
Oh yeah, the progress menu. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but so I think a small minor toast when I'm doing Railjack just to say, yeah, that was the... I've forgotten all the names now.
Titanium. Just say titanium.
No, Copenix.
Okay.
Let's say I'm trying to get myself 200 Copenix, and it's like, okay, there's 25 Copenix, there's 50 Copenix. I could just keep checking the progress bar each time, but I'd like to. It just saves me doing that. Because otherwise, I'd have to like pick up a thing. Was that Copenix? No. Pick up a thing. Was that Copenix? No. Pick up a thing. Was that Copenix? Yes. 10 of them. Right. Okay. Pick up a thing. Yes, that's Copenix. You know, it just so that way you can just keep flying around, picking up the cans. Like, yep, Copenix, and they're like, oh, how many have had in total? Progress menu. So yeah, just take them off. But at the moment, they're on the big toasts. You know what I mean by the big toasts?
Yeah, dude, I am fully appreciative of the word toast that you're using. You are doing it
so
right.
They're on the big ones, but because there's so many of them, it just gets delayed.
Yeah,
it's like.
I don't agree with this person's comment of it covering up the UI.
I'm not sure on that, but it is. I wouldn't say it covers up the UI, but it is a large UI element.
I think it might do that if you have the UI at the maximum size. I don't. I have it at like the legacy size. Do you remember that? So I can easily envision it overlapping if that's the case. Oh God, I don't know what to say. Are people typically always in the forges?
I don't know the stuff about the forge. I don't know what they're saying about the forge.
Well, they're basically the same. There's no reason to have the pop-ups anyway, because there are always people in the forge. And I'm like, are there always people in the forge?
No, I think...
That's what they're saying.
No, I think they're saying that I need to know how many Copenix I pick up with the big toast so that I know when I need to when I can use the forge, is what I think they're saying. And so saying we need these big pop-ups, these big toast pop-ups, so that I know for the forge isn't a good excuse either, because the information could just be relayed with the mini toast sort of thing at the bottom, which isn't, with full thing, it doesn't even have a box. So that way you could just check for the common resources.
But I mean, the other thing is titanium. I mean, I don't know where you are in Railjack. I know
and I think their last comment, by the way, is that the forge is almost all in use. I think that means because when you go to the forge, it will list what you have anyway.
Yeah.
So you don't need to see these big... Because you can go, right, can I make this?
But it'll tell you about things like Copenix. But it won't tell you about things like titanium, because you don't use titanium in the Railjack resources. So you don't use it to build the...
Yeah, I don't think titanium would count. I think they're...
But titanium does appear on the toast.
But I wouldn't call it a common Railjack resource. I think they literally mean the 4 that you use for crafting in the foundry, in the forge.
I know.
Titanium I'd say is a uncommon resource. But the thing is, at the moment, they are all grouped together as just Railjack resource.
And thus shove it in the toast, yeah.
They're shoving toast. I think it's basically meaning separate them out, because those are like titanium. Maybe you do want to see titanium because you don't use that in the forge, but you do want to see that. So that one will still be in there. But things like it's the I can't remember what they are now. What are the 4?
I think Copenix is one of them.
Yeah. Warframe, Railjack. I just don't remember because I hate using the forge. I don't like the forge. I think the forge is just awful. Components. Resources. Helen Resource Forge. Cubic diodes, pustules, carbides, and Copenix. Yeah, those 4. Those 4 should be taken off the toast, is what this is asking for. Because those are the common resources.
Okay.
I would say.
I'm not opposed to this.
Yeah. So replies are: is there a reason for Ordis to tell me the same joke every day for 2 years? Yeah, he's Ordis.
Yes, because they don't have any more additional dialogue for him.
And it also kind of makes sense because he's not all there.
He's also a ship Cephalon.
So to him, maybe it is every time the first time he told a joke.
Yeah.
Next reply is: I honestly wish they'd just let us select which resource to have a pop-up from a submenu somewhere. Just a list of resources with a displayed message notification on pickup on-off toggle. I like this because when I'm hunting down argon crystals, I would like argon crystals to have a toast, but they don't. But if I could select
argon crystals do have a toast.
Do they?
Yes.
Okay, what about if I was, some crazy reason, farming control modules?
I think control modules still have a toast as well.
Morphix?
Has a toast.
No, it doesn't.
Pretty sure it does.
We'll test this afterwards. But I would like an option to be able to select, I'm farming for this. Please tell me when I get this thing. You not think that'd be useful?
Oh, I completely 100% agree.
Yeah. And you could pick it in the list. I don't see a problem with that. Next one. I remember them saying they were going to remove the pop-up for all the 4 forging materials. They seem to have forgotten. They'll get around to it, though. If they've said it, they'll get around to it. Trust me. If you're the engineer and you need to know when you have more of a certain material for making flux energy, munitions, etc., it's really helpful to have that pop up. Maybe, but if you're the engineer, you're just going to be constantly looking at the forges anyway.
No, there's an argument against this because you are not the engineer. You are filling the engineer role. Yeah, it's like you are not. God, how do I say this? You are not set in a specific role. You can't say it to the game, I am the engineer. I will always be in the one doing these things, these tasks, right? Because at any point in time, you could just jump on an Archwing, or you could jump on a turret, or you could jump in the pilot seat. That's entirely up to you at any point in time. So, yeah.
If that's the case, you've always got the progress menu.
Yes.
Haven't you? So you can always check at any moment. So, yeah. Last one, just an oversight from the Rising Tide update. You could complete the build for your Railjack before Railjack were actually in the game. Back then, you had to find resources on planets when they're indeed rare drops, hence the pop-up. There we go, as I said earlier.
Yep.
I think, again, it's just an oversight, yeah. Right, topic 3.
Cool. Topic 3. Topic 3. I'm looking at IKEA to see if I can adjust my chair. Topic 3. Right. The owner of the Railjack should get priority. When someone else is piloting the Railjack, the owner should be able to override them by forcing them out of the pilot seat and then taking control of the ship. If you are going to let people with low mastery into your Railjack, then at least let the Railjack owners have some sort of way to take control of the ship. I met people who literally pilot the Railjack when they don't even have any skills that can help with piloting it. Wasting flux energy and then getting the Railjack into a ton of trouble that end up with a squad meeting up with the failure screen. Good way of wording that. Or they just pilot the Railjack forever, not leaving it, so we have to complete missions with a handicap or return to the dry dock and try to get a new squad members. I do not agree with this.
Why is that, Xeno?
Because if I'm piloting and someone just kicks me off because they feel like it, I mean, that's the role I enjoy doing. Oh no, I am the host, therefore get out. That just feels like a real dick move. Anyone can spend flux energy at any point on the ship. Like, you know, you could be in a turret and you could still spend people's flux energy. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it's a big deal that the pilot is always in the pilot seat. I wouldn't want my Railjack standing still. I dislike the notion of, you know, I could kind of get the idea of just, or they just pilot the Railjack forever, not leaving it, so we have to complete missions with a handicap or return to the dry dock and try and get new squad members. I don't understand that. So they don't leave the pilot seat, so what?
Yeah, I don't get it either. Seeing as the host has control over whether or not the next mission goes ahead.
No, anyone can do it.
No, they can't, can they?
Yeah, anyone can go to the dry dock.
Don't think...
No, I literally did it to Joey. What day was it that I did the stream with him? Saturday night.
I thought the host had to do that to next missions.
Nope. I did it to Jojo.
I think that should be changed. The host should be the one who can choose next missions. That's it.
Okay.
But apart from that, I don't like the host being able to force people off the things. Yeah. You might have some missions in which you get random idiots. You can just quit, and the likelihood you're going to pair up with those same idiots again, they're going to sit in the same spot, is very minimal. The important thing is that missions go ahead and missions... If the host could do that, the host could equally do the same, and then people are sitting there staring, not doing anything. I don't see why we have to blame people separately.
Yeah.
The host could equally do something stupid, like not join in missions, just fly around stupidly. I don't like this personally.
No, I don't like the notion of kicking people out of the pilot seat. This just feels like, I mean, if you want to be the pilot, just ask people, right? If you don't, like, I've jumped into pubby missions when the person is not driving anywhere close to the objective. I have to get in my Arkwing and then fly 4 or 5 kilometers to actually get to the objective. And then I just go on the ship and I do the objective, and then I fly back. Yeah. Right? It's not the end of the world. I mean, it was a lot worse when I was doing it because the cruise ships could still lock on to Arkwings and just blow you out of the water, so to speak.
Yep.
So, okay, is there a legitimate problem here with players doing this in Arkwing? I don't know.
Railjack.
Sorry, in Railjack, that's my bad. I don't know. Because you are dependent on people collaborating together.
You could equally say, is there a problem with friendship doors because you could be stuck in a mission with an idiot who doesn't push the other button on the friendship door? It's the same problem. It doesn't really come up that often.
No, it doesn't.
I don't really have any problem with it.
I think my concern is I really can't feel I can talk about this because I don't do much Railjack. I'm waiting for Railjack to see its improvements, and then I'm going to go get my intrinsics up. I'm going to go play it because I want to have fun. I don't like...
It's still in a raw state where it's just very grindy, and if you want to get your intrinsics up, you could just grind them, but you're grinding a very raw, basic version of what it could be.
It's still too raw. It's like... It's not minimum viable product. It is just minimum product. You know,
utter core product.
Yeah, it is. It is the core of the product, and not a great deal more. And it's harsh for me to say this. It's what was the name of the person from the comments? Like, not coming back. They haven't played for a few months.
Oh, it was Cursed Gunner.
Yeah. Like, you know, I completely agree. I'm not going back to Railjack until it's had some TLC. Likewise, you know, I enjoy doing the liches. I've not had a problem with the liches, but I do have problems with Railjack. So, yeah, I'm not touching it. So, I don't know if there is a true problem with Railjack as described. Right? I personally do not think there is this issue. Shall we go to replies and see what other people say?
By the way, what is a low mastery player supposed to do in Railjack if not piloting? Can't use the artillery, can't use the slingshot, can't aim side turrets forwards, can't do anything with an average Arkwing/Arc weapon. I guess you could stay on standby until something needs repairing or the ship gets boarded.
I completely agree.
That's a fair point.
You know?
But I think at the same time, I'm completely with them on this. I think DE did really strip too much away. all those things should have been put into like a quest. So there should have been a quest which got you to unlock like level 1 and everything, and got you to use all the different sections to kind of teach you what you're doing with them. And then when you actually did normal actions everywhere else, everyone would be on a certain level.
Can you build your intrinsics up if you don't have an Arcwing? Sorry, a Railjack.
Well, yeah, because you can just do it with your Arcwing. You can join in.
No. You can do the mission.
Yeah,
right?
you can go to the terminal.
Okay, cool. That's the question. That was the question.
I've seen people that say that's what they're doing.
Okay.
From what I've seen in Railjack, things can go very wrong very quickly with an uncooperative player that takes over the pilot seat and puts an entire team in a sticky situation. When I went into pub missions with my own Railjack, I've always had more than a few unfortunate experiences where someone decided to take my Railjack for a joyride the moment I went out to put a fire or work the forge.
Yeah.
Well, okay, this is a communication issue, and why if you're flying your Railjack around, you're like, oh, I better put stuff in the forge. So you get out of the pilot seat, so you haven't left the ship in a sticky situation by doing this? But now you're saying they are putting it in a sticky situation?
No, you could argue that you park the... So this was Zandy's method of flying Railjack, was park it inside an asteroid and then leave it.
Yeah, okay, I did that for solo as well. I've tried that, yeah. But
so you could park it in an asteroid, go to put out a fire, or go and get rid of some borders or whatever, and then leave the asteroid. But if someone's... I don't think it is as bad as described, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, for me, the Railjack itself is just a not very... I know eventually it gets to the point that you have to use the Railjack to blow up the fighters, but early on, I would just go, well, Arcwing can just do the mission objectives and then just blow up stuff, so I'd use that. And then eventually you just need all you need the Railjack to do is just blow up the fighters because it's quicker. And then that's it. In fact, that's all you need the Railjack for. And because every mission wants you to blow up fighters, that's all I rely on the Railjack to do. And there seems to be loads of people who like repairing the bloody thing. And when you do that, it's invincible. So just let people do that. I just don't see the big issue with that. Next reply is, the big cannon should just be tied to the pilot seat instead of a completely separate cannon, because it was simply a bunch of useless fluff after they scrapped most of the promotional and previous preview design bits. Alongside the same, I find it silly we have 4 forges when we have just had one that would have 4 charges for each processing order, and it would recover over time when it has yet to be recently used.
I agree. So basically what they're proposing is there's a single forge terminal, and you can build 4 things before it's on cooldown, instead of having 4 separate forges that you have to physically go around.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah,
the other
it is just I think the whole forge concept was they were trying to think of more things for you to do, and because they gutted the whole keeping, micromanaging the ship, the power stuff and all that, which I'm still shocked on that. I just don't get it, because instead, right, so to me, that I thought that was going to be cool, because it meant the difficulty was going to be on your internal control of the ship. They got rid of it, which puts the difficulty back to just blow up stuff outside. It became external to the ship again. Yeah. And there was nothing you could do inside the ship to improve your ability to complete the mission. It was just get people on guns and shoot things.
Yeah.
I just think it just dumbed it down so much.
It dumbed it down too much.
Whereas if instead it was your option that it was your control of the ship, right, we need to blow up stuff now, put it to guns, the guns are now really good and easy to blow stuff up, right, but it means that we won't be able to do the objective quickly, so now we need to put it back to powering all the side features, right, so that's that, turn on some things, by your power control, it meant that the abilities could all be really powerful and the guns could be really powerful, but you just couldn't use them all at the same time.
Yeah.
But because they dumped it all down to one level, it meant that everything just had to just be the same, and it was more about just shooting things.
Yeah.
It just annoyed me.
Yeah.
It meant that missions couldn't have any complexity to them.
I want I know that there are plenty of content creators out there that advocate for universal vacuum and stuff like that. I really want to
got universal vacuum.
Content creators used to advocate for it. My point is, I want to advocate for the engineering that was advertised at TennoCon. I want to be able to shift.
I don't think it was engineering, though. It was done by the captain in the pilot seat.
It wasn't the pilot seat. It was the terminal behind the pilot seat. But
it was, yeah.
It doesn't matter where it is, right? You could shove it with the forges for all I care, you know? So whoever's doing it has a nice window of nothingness. But, you know, Geordie LaForge had no problem with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, so why not have that for Railjack? I don't like the fact that it was taken out.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it was dumbed down, and I do not like.
Yeah, because then it also became less. You'd stick more interesting modules on your ship, which would be very powerful that you activate, and then you get a powerful response. And then it became just sort of tiered leveling of you just get better guns.
I mean, like one thing I would absolutely love, right? You know, there's an amazing local co-op game called Catastronauts. Right?
Yes.
Pretty much space overcooked. It is awesome. And one of the best things about it was you could open and close doors. Do you remember? Was it you that was doing it? Or was it me that was doing it? Like, you'd get fires.
I think it was you and Rich, if you mean the solar flare that killed everyone.
No, not the solar flare. There was, like, you'd get fires in the cargo bay, and to get rid of the fires, you open the cargo bay doors, and the number of times people would get ejected into space because someone opened the door. But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So one of the things you could have for the engineers is maybe it's an upgrade, but instead of going around manually putting out the fires, you could just vent the atmosphere out of that compartment, right?
Yeah.
So the shields disappear off the warframes, the health slowly degrades. We'll say for like the Grineer's sake or the Corpus sake, the enemies, they are not affected by the depletion of the life support, but that would
you could just put to make it simple. You could just add a movement only, not attacking, slow effect on them to act like that they're now using magnetized boots or something.
Yeah, sure. You know, but it doesn't change how they fight, like shoot or anything.
Yeah.
It's just their movement speed.
Yeah. Well, actually, they fight in normal missions when you shoot out the window. They don't get sucked out. So
yeah. So that I think would be great. And you could do, oh no, this thing's been, you know, this electrical pathway's been broken, you need to fix it, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna play the hacking mini game and reroute stuff and, you know, do the Spider-Man mini games. Have you ever seen any of the Spider-Man mini games where he's doing electronics? It's literally just the Corpus hacking mini game where you just reroute things and you gotta get it to get the right power levels and crap. Yeah, like, I genuinely think let's make engineering great again. Second to Arkwing. Arkwing first. Any other replies?
Giving the host the ability to lock things is dumb, but I do think some change have to be made, so this isn't a problem to begin with. Is it a problem to begin with? Really? Yeah, I think this is more of the problems where it's like you have a problem with an idiot, you go to another mission, you don't get that idiot, you don't have that problem.
I mean,
I don't think there's that many idiots who are this problem.
I mean, the other thing that I think we said this from the get-go, you need to facilitate communication better.
Yes, as well, yeah.
And I personally would love like an allegiance or an alliance or whatever between Discord and Warframe or whomever in Warframe, and you could just go, right, create group chat, and it would just like dial up a group call with anyone that has their Discord thing, affiliated with. But I think there's, probably rules and regulations that you have to adhere to and who's responsible for what, so on and so forth. So no company wants to try and do this, but hell, if this was done, this would be amazing. Yeah.
And the last one is, I'm in full agreement with this. Even if it's merely on the grounds that it is the ownership, after all, I'd still agree with this. I don't think it's that big a problem.
No.
It might be annoying, but I think it would be more trolly to get people who you're trying to do the mission and then they just keep kicking you off the flight of the ship, and then you try and get back in the ship and they keep kicking you out.
Yeah. No, okay, so
if they're going to do something for Railjack, they need more content first. There's no real problems with this sort of stuff.
Yeah. Do you have the issue? So have you experienced the issue as described in topic 3? So that's the first question, and the second question I want to ask. So I hit that button. Here's that. Do you want engineering to be great? Oh no, to be as previously advertised? No. Should engineering be as demonstrated at TennoCon 2019? It was last year that they showed off the points and the adjusting of the things, wasn't it? Was it last year? I swear it was last year. Yeah? Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
The next question I'm asking is, should engineering be as demonstrated at TennoCon 2019? That's when...
Yeah, go for it. I know. Yeah, I think it should be. I want something more to that. Or something of that ilk. It got dumbed down too much.
I mean, alternatively, rename it to janitor.
Do you even use the big gun?
No.
I really think that big gun doesn't do anything. Does it? What can it do? I know I can't use it because I haven't got the levels in gunnery, but I don't feel like I'm missing out on gameplay by not having access to it. I mean, the boarding of the ships, I think would actually be kind of cool, but I can't get in that tool with YouTube because it's bugged, sadly. But still, the big gun, I don't think I'm missing out on.
I don't know what you're talking about, Loz. I mean, there's categorical proof that you got into that tube and got fired out of it. I mean, you acknowledged it as it was happening.
No, I think this is all a deep fake.
No, yeah. Deep fake.
This is clearly a deep fake in action. You've got your deep fake maker. You've got Joey, maker of the deep fakes.
You know what deep fake is, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. Just double checking.
You know it's used for more than porn, right?
I didn't know it was used for porn.
Oh, that's what the main thing of it is.
Oh,
like people get celebrities' faces and then apply them onto actresses or actors' bodies in porn.
Oh, I didn't know this. I was talking about how Corridor Digital had like Tom Cruise and Keanu Reeves in their videos.
Well, yeah, that's part of the reason for it. Yeah, okay. The main thing of it is the porn use, because it's always the porn use.
It's always the porn use. Right. Okay, so I think that's it for topics.
If I Google deepfake, I wonder if
let's first. Well, Google's probably filtering out the bad stuff. Right. So let's move on to the memes. Yes.
Sure.
The memes. Something so innocent and cool just corrupted like that.
Well, yeah. Welcome to the internet. That's the internet for you, man.
Yeah,
that's how it is. Do you need these on Discord? I think you do, don't you?
No. I can just I look at them on
I'm gonna do it
on the preview.
I haven't got the links myself open.
Oh, okay.
So let's go. Right, so
the first one.
Number 1. Should I consume this Kuva pod?
Oh, it'd be good if they actually sort of like painted it, like put like red on it and things, red spots.
Yeah, or just put some like red Haribo or something on top of it.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been hilarious.
Good. There we go. So that's meme number 1. Moving on to meme number 2. I love this one so much.
Okay.
A small price to pay for salvation. So if we go through it.
Yeah.
Scene 1. It's the time traveling. We did it. We time traveled. But to what year? Let me ask that guy over there. What is the community complaining about at the moment? They removed self-damage. And then the next scene is like they're supposed to work out what age it is, but they just reply with, will we ever be happy? No.
That's a really good one. I like that one.
So if you look very carefully in the third picture, there's salty chroma mains.
Okay.
I love the will we ever be happy. It's like,
oh god,
brilliant. Third meme. The unofficial stats. It's very similar to one last week.
Yeah.
How it is: dread, despair, hate, and scimitar oranges. So 40%, 6%, 6%, 1%. How it really is: dread blueprint.
I think you said the third one, right?
Huh? Oh.
Yeah. No, I've not got that. I've got something else. I've got Kylo Ren.
Oh, okay. I've put them in my thing wrong order. They're fine. Okay, we'll go to the fourth. Okay, yeah, we'll go for the third. I'll call it the third one. So the third one, my links in wrong order. Bad me. No, they're in really the wrong order. Which one am I looking for here? I'll just go for the image. It's the Kylo Ren one, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
The fifth one? Right.
She says this every time I'm bombarded by enemies. Lotus, keep going. Nobody knows you're here. The entire Corpus facility. I want every gun we have to fire on that man.
Oh.
I do love that sometimes Lotus lines get a bit out of sync, and that's it's like I've just shot through 10 dudes. It's like nobody knows you're here.
Yep.
Looks behind you, dead bodies. Looks in front of you, guns pointed at your face. Okay, so the fourth one. Now I've got this right now. Yeah, the fourth one. The fourth one is the unofficial stats, and this is similar to one last week from Stalker's drops. Dread Blueprint about 40%, Despair about 6%, Hate about 6%, Scimitar just 1%. How it really is: Dread Blueprint 99%. Despair and Hate, 0.5 each. Scimitar Engines Blueprint. Lol. Yep, that'd be Stalker's drop table.
Out of interest, do you know that this person's European? You know
not an old timer?
Huh? No. The person that's edited this image is European because they're using comma and not period.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very good point. Well spotted there. Very well spotted.
The bane of programmers' existence.
I love how you've also pointed out the European, and that would in theory exclude England because that'd be stupid to put commas instead of periods.
Yep.
Right, and then we're on to number 5.
Five.
Yeah. Oh god!
What the hell?
I don't know when this picture is from, but I find this hilarious.
What the hell? This has got to
Stay healthy.
Yeah.
Unwashed hands, and then I don't know when Reb was behind Megan. There's Reb's COVID-19 looking for me, Megan. Unwashed hands, like.
Oh my god, that's mental.
Oh dear.
Right, and number 6.
And then number 6, which is for anyone who has seen Arbiters as well, this week.
Okay. Oh god.
Don't craft the Pangolin Prime. You have to listen to me. Mystery deepens over animal source of coronavirus. Pangolins are a prime suspect for a slew of Warframe. She is coming with Corinth Prime and Pangolin Sword Prime and features her own set of unique moveset. Conspiracy man.
Oh my god. Is this where you got? Is this where you got the question from?
No, I came with it off my own accord. Because
Yeah.
I knew that we were doing the dev stream, and I saw at the end, I was just clicking through a dev stream, and I saw Pangolin Prime, and I'm like, Pangolins? Let me think of it. And obviously, this person's got a similar thing, but I just love that it's just brilliant.
Oh my god.
Yep. I love that they found a bit that says pangolins are a prime suspect. They're like, Pangolin Prime.
Yeah.
The connection.
Yeah. Insane.
Brilliant. So that is the memes of this week. Let us go on to the community
Shoutouts.
explosions. Oh,
Cool.
What were you saying?
Shoutouts.
Explosion.
Community shoutouts. Right, so the first community shoutout is this operator
Exactly. Look at this. Explosion.
by LJX. You're right there, Loz.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at the comparison image. They've got a few tweets below.
Yeah, I think it's, 2018 and 2020?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Huge difference. I love the detail they've put on like the leather coat.
Makes me think about, remember, I think it was on our interview with Megan when they said they were going to make operators age.
Yeah.
Still haven't.
Yeah.
Right, next.
Number 2 is a Kofi Doodles. Kofi Doodle 5 by Zilvtree. And I don't know if you remember Zilvtree by name, but
I remember them by name. They're amazing. Oh, we always have Zilvtree's arts on. Zilvtree's arts is great, isn't it? Just looking through it. Yeah, look at all this beautiful art. Yep.
Yeah. Right.
Beautiful art.
Number 3 is this.
By the way, they actually put the word doodle, so we have to say it.
Yeah, I did. I did say doodle.
But it's just a doodle.
Just a doodle.
This beautiful image.
It's just a doodle. All right. So number 3 is this Gauss Tenogen by Faven. Loz, I give you a Gundam. Loz, you have your Gundam.
That is so good. Wait, who did you say this was?
Faven.
See, that's the thing when people have different names to their Twitter handles. I guess.
Yeah, no, this is Faven. This is the Faven who does all the Grax stuff.
Yeah. So, but this isn't.
They haven't labeled it as Grax.
It's Grax.
Maybe they didn't feel it was Grax enough. So.
Yeah. Kind of. That's awesome though. That is just so cool. I just like instantly buy this. This is just so cool.
Yep.
It's odd though, they haven't opened up all the. I don't think they've opened all the vents. The legs don't look open. The back of the shins, the size of the shins. I don't think they've opened up.
Right, number 4.
Maybe it's just a third image.
Number 4.
But still, that is just amazing. Yep, 4
is Hugging Space Cat by Shad. Very nice to see that Shad's doing more art here and there. And Shad actually put in the body of the message, like, when can we actually have cybernetic legs for our Kavats? And
wow.
I kind of actually really like the idea of that.
Yeah, this image though, I love this sort of image because it reminds me of video games when I was younger, when they would do future. I suppose it's maybe more dystopian VUCA things, but it was all kind of cluttered. There was all this. The goal was all about detail and showing that it was a lived-in place. And you look at this, and you can just imagine this is the corner of a workshop that's really old. There's loads of designs half unfinished everywhere, and the person's just going on about their daily life within it. And I love the foreground and background image of it. It's a really cool image. That
number 5, which is Loki Prime by Ked.
Ooh.
I thought this was really intense.
Tense, man. Yeah, it's intense. Feel it.
All right.
Yep.
And then last but not least, 6, Space Mother Sentient Daughter by Kaoru.
Ooh. Ooh, I like the kind of lopsidedness in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good, that is. Ooh, yeah.
Cool.
Other published on Patreon.
Well,
you on the Twitter of it?
No.
We just got the image. Just never mind. People are just vulgar.
Of course. Right. So that is it for community shoutouts. So was it the community explosions?
Yes.
And we're now going to go on and finish this episode with Loz's quote.
The old war. The Orokin, I think they knew they were doomed. Where another race would surrender to despair, the Orokin fought back with greater strength. The Dax made the sentients fight for every inch of space. In my life, I have never seen anything like it. They would weep, they would pray, they would say goodbye to their loved ones, and then they would throw themselves without fear or hesitation at the very face of death itself, never surrendering. No one who saw them fight against the inevitable would be moved to tears by their courage, their stubborn nobility. When they ran out of warships, they used percussion rifles. When they ran out of rifles, they used scanners and sticks and bare hands. They were magnificent. I only hope that when it is my time, I die with half as much dignity as I saw in their eyes in the end. They did this for 2 years. They never ran out of courage. but in the end, they ran out of time.
I recognize this.
I don't think you would.
That would make me think it's an old film.
It is old, 1998. You haven't seen this, and I don't think it came out in cinemas.
I haven't seen it.
I'm pretty sure you haven't seen this.
Go on then.
What?
Well, if I haven't seen it, I'm not going to guess it.
Babylon 5 in the beginning.
Ugh. You and your Babylon 5s.
Come on, man, that speech is epic.
It was pretty damn epic, mind. No, I distinctly remember something, which was like, when they ran out of, bullets, they picked up swords and, or knives and things like that. And it just made me think of like Riddick with, I think it was like Chronicles of Riddick with like the whole Furia when they wiped out all the Furians. But the whole 2-year thing was like, no, this doesn't sound like it. But yeah, no, I've not seen. Loz is now linking me stuff. So that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much, Loz, for the very interesting quote. Yeah. And yeah, we will see you guys next week, hopefully with a guest.
Last episode of the month, we normally do have a guest, but we'll try for next week, I guess.
Oh yeah, I'll work something out. I don't know. Like, yeah, this week has been turned on its head. Right, so that's it for this episode. Where's the off button? Where's the off button, Loz? Where's the off button? Found it.
I don't know.
Found it. It's fine, Loz. Fine, calm down.
Is it fine?
God, calm down, man. You're hysterical.